Hello, 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 everyone. I don't know if we are live yet. I think we should be live shortly. I think it should be. Let me double check. Let me ping this down here. We'll see if this thing has gone live. It still says it's waiting. Let's see if maybe it hasn't connected yet. Has it begun? Hello? Oh, yes, it has begun. Hello, everyone. Oh, there's an ad. I'm watching this on my YouTube, on my iPad right now, and I have an ad pop up. So you know what? I'm paying for my own YouTube channel, I guess. But welcome everyone to the weekly live stream, and especially a big welcome to anyone new here coming from the Unsolved Network too, joining us from the BuzzFeed audience. And if you're not from the BuzzFeed audience, whoever's here, welcome. We're very excited for this what should be a very fun chat with John Alite, as well as just a hangout as always. If you're new here, we do these weekly live streams. It's been a fun time, and I'm very excited to have a special guest like John Alite come on the show. If you're not familiar with John Alite, well, he's going to tell you the story of his life, I'm sure, over the course of our chat together, as well as answer all your very many questions. We have a lot of them. We've gotten a lot of them. And on that note, if you do have a question for John, all you got to do is you got to go to the Discord, because the reason why is there's so many of you sending in questions, and we don't want your questions to get lost in the shuffle. So join the Discord. It's linked. It's pinned. The moderators here can also help you out with that. Join the Discord. You can throw your questions in a channel which we call, it's a Ask Hitman Anything. The moderators are just gonna help filter through the questions for me, and then we'll send the questions through to him. That way your question doesn't get buried, because I can't keep my eye on the stream all the time. That said, looking at the stream now, and yes, thank you, Jack. Jack says cool jacket. I'm wearing red because it's Chinese New Year. The Lunar New Year has begun, and you're supposed to wear red. John is actually on the call with me already, but I told him I'd spend a couple of minutes vamping, so he's just listening to me ramble right now. Him and his poor girlfriend have to hear me chatter away. But yeah, we're just letting more of you guys just come in. Oh, there's a lot of you popping in already. I know it's. We're very excited to have you all here, and to have your questions for John. I've done a couple of videos with John for BuzzFeed. I know the audience really appreciated learning, hearing what a fascinating life he's led. And so we're very excited to have him back, and we're grateful to have him back to, talk more about his life and answer your questions. You guys certainly have a lot of them, both from the interesting side of things as well as the wacky side of things. So, he's a fun guy, so it's going to be a fun chat all around. Yeah, so we're just going to keep just chatting for a little moment before John comes on. But hello to everyone. Yes, Mitch is here, Stuart, Elizabeth, Q Promise, Holly Walks Dog, Sarah, Megan, Nikki, Yar, Vinny, Angela. We appreciate you being here. I send John's appreciation to Q Promise. Is this for a new video? No. I mean, we'd love to still do more stuff with John. He's a very busy man. So, this is just a live stream, but, hopefully we can do more content with him in the future, especially when it's safe. Maybe we can do something with him in person when we're allowed to travel there. But he's a very busy man. We have all the links to his work right now. He's got a new book coming out in a couple months, Deathaven, which was written with him and with Lou Romano. He's told me he's shooting something potentially. I won't reveal too much of that. I don't know if I'm allowed to. But he's got all kinds of stuff, and he's got his podcast, the Johnny and Gene Show. He's a very busy man, so we appreciate him being here to chat with us. I'll mention you, Paula Diaz. Nice to see you, Paula. Why sometimes your camera flipped? Oh, I flipped it back, Jack. I flipped it back. Yes. Oh, I will. Yes, Chelsea. I've told him that there's something funny going around, and I wanted to tell him that on camera so you guys can see his reaction when I tell him. It's kind of fun. But yeah, imagine Shane busting down the door. Sarah doesn't want me to say her name until I apologize for Zane. That's not going to happen. Welcome to Loretana. We're glad to have you all here. I think we're ready to kick in Mr. Alite in about a minute. So thank you very much for the love about this jacket. I got it from Forever 21 a while ago. Kyle Somerville, this is not topical. I have a game suggestion for you. The game is called Phantasmophobia. Oh, I think you mean Phasmophobia. I've played it a couple times. It's not that... I was scared, but it wasn't as scary as At Dead of Night, which will continue, by the way, in the future. Again, if you're new here, we do these weekly live streams, so, tune in. Join the Discord if you have questions for John. We already have a whole bunch of questions to go through, and the moderators are helping filter through that. Again, the Discord is pinned, so if you have any questions for John, do that. Oh, Tommy, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Tommy Jackson, big shout out, a Canadian dollar too. I appreciate that. I will use that when I go to Tim Hortons. Lots of love to you, Tommy. Nice to see you, Yarn. Nice to see you here. I think we're all about ready to introduce Mr. Alite. So let's bring in the beautiful man himself. Here he is. Let's plug in. I think John. I think they can hear you. Why don't you say something?
You want me to say I'd say hello to everybody, and it's good to be back with you guys at BuzzFeed again.
Oh, fantastic. Wait, can you guys hear him? Let us know in the chat. Can you hear John right now? Let me know if you can't. But yes, this is Mr. Alita. Look at this beautiful man in that turtleneck, the suit. It's late at night right now. He's a legend for being here with us, looking great. You guys can hear him. Is that correct? They're saying yes. They say you can hear. Fantastic. Let me know if the levels are good. If he's too quiet or if I'm too quiet, we can adjust accordingly. But yeah, we're so grateful to have you here, Mr. Alita, for this stream, for this chat. But one thing I will mention right off the bat, and this is the thing that I was telling you about before the stream, before we got on live, is a lot of people are very excited to ask you questions, but you also got a lot of attention on the Discord, on the BuzzFeed YouTube channel, because a lot of people they find you very attractive. There were a lot of, as they would say, there were a lot of thirsty comments for you. Are you familiar with what thirsty comments are?
I just got hit with something in the background.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. That's true.
No, I'm kidding.
His lady is with him. So for those of you asking if he's single, no, that's not the case. But yeah, no, there's a lot of love for you. In the community, and so people are very excited because the pictures that were chosen to show that to promote your upcoming appearance were the ones from your very young days, where you have there's that shot of you in handcuffs where your chiseled chest is kind of bursting out of your red jumpsuit. So yeah, lots of love for you there, John.
I still wear those handcuffs to bed now.
Do you is that something you get often, like not not necessarily now, but like when you're talking about your past work and people see like the old photos of you, do you tend to get a lot of attention from women or men?
Yeah, I mean, whoever actually took that picture at the time, it was, I was in great shape. I was always in the ring in those days. I was always, I still work out. I'm a guy that likes to work out and stay in shape. It's part of who I've been since I'm a kid. So I think that, that picture just was well received. So it got a lot of attention over the years. And, I'm grateful for people complimenting on it. And, I appreciate it.
Well, it's a lot of past attention and present. Although there are comments in the chat saying for your lovely lady, they have a lot of respect for her being able to grab you, to nab you. But yeah, no, I'm glad to have you here. There's a lot of comments to filter through right now, so I'm still kind of going through them right now. But yeah, I mean, like, if you want to quickly just give a brief overview of your life for people that aren't familiar with it before we dive into things.
I started as a kid growing up around the mafia, and, people ask me, would you choose this career again? And I mean, obviously not. I mean, people see the exciting parts of it, obviously, and they don't see the dark side of the life. And I think that's what I base my talks about on my podcast, although I talk about a lot of violence on it, because I try to capture what people are interested in hearing. But then the message comes in where, I discuss this life that I really didn't have much of a choice in. I'm Albanian. I grew up in a strict Albanian family, but my family was involved with the American mafia here in the States, and also in Albania, they were involved in the street. So I just happened to be raised since I'm an infant in this world that was normal to me at the time. And going from that kind of upbringing brought violence. And I just adjusted to my circumstances, I guess, that, any child would, growing up in whatever environment they grow up, if you grow up around cars and you're a mechanic, you take to it. It's something you're comfortable with. And I was comfortable with the streets. And it became part of my life and who I am then and who I am today, actually. I say if it wasn't for my life of crime and my life in the street, I wouldn't be able to help, some of the kids, women, men, or anybody that gets in trouble on the street or needs advice and, wants somebody that understands it. I understand it. You're not necessarily a bad person. I talk about, people that are murderers and people that are killers and people that are serial killers. There's a difference. I became a killer, and I'm not a murderer. I'm not a guy that went into a store and held up a store for a couple of bucks and killed the store, the person working behind a register. It's just, to me, that's a murderer. That's somebody that doesn't have a thermometer of balance of what he's doing. I was involved with other street guys. We signed up for the life. It's a bad life, like I said, but it was a life we all agreed on going into. Whether they're your enemies or your friends, you learn to respect them, learn to respect their capabilities. And I got good at what I did, through some of the people I was raised around that were top bosses in this world. And I was raised around them, guys like Fat Andy Ruggiano, and then later on, John Gotti. And these guys were top gangsters, and I was raised around them and with them, and I learned the streets. And, I'm a guy that took pride in what I did, even though it was in the street, I took pride in it. And same thing I do in business, and the same as I do now with my life now, I try to do or be the best at what I do. So it's just part of my personality, I think, to try to be a winner, not a loser, and to motivate and stay motivated in a positive direction in these days anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It's an interesting, sort of talking point is the fact that obviously some people will look to, the things you did in your life in the mob and kind of find it hard to sort of like see the person and the work you do now, because obviously, they attribute a lot of the violence that you did to who you are. But it is obviously commendable the work you do with, prison reform, with troubled youth. That's something we covered in the BuzzFeed video together. So, it's for me, what I enjoy talking to you about and what I enjoyed our previous chats about in the videos, but also here now too, is just, life is complicated, right? And life can go many different ways, and it's kind of the choices you make down the line. Like, you could have chosen many different paths going into your later life, and yet here you are. You're trying to, take the experiences you had and trying to use them for good. The cards that you were dealt with, you kind of rolled with the punches. And we do have a question actually about your podcast. So a couple questions about this. I know Stuart was asking about your podcast. Q promised the name of your podcast is the Johnny and Gene Show, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's the Johnny and Gene Show.
Johnny and Gene Show. So check that out. It's linked in the description if you want to check out his podcast. But yes, we have a lot of questions to get through. And so you kind of answered a couple of questions. Liliana was asking, what was your childhood like? And Clumsy Byron asked, did you have a job before you became a hitman? I mean, you kind of answered that, right? That's kind of, but is there anything you want to expand upon that?
Yeah, I mean, as much, an average kid's not used to blood, right? I grew up at 3 years old around boxing rings, and, and I was used to bleeding, and I was used to looking at people that got hurt, and it just became something that I was accustomed to. So when you're not, when you don't have fear of certain things that people are afraid of, most children, when they bleed, they cry, or they're afraid of it. And, I was used to that. So that's not one of my fear factors. People ask you, wow, you're wild, you're not afraid of much. And that's relative to what you're doing, because if somebody asked me to climb up and do a high wire act, I'm afraid of that. That's not something I'm comfortable with. So, people say you're not afraid of things. Sure you are. It's just what you're accustomed to. I was accustomed to the streets, and I was accustomed to violence, and I was used to seeing people getting hurt, whether it was killed or battered or stabbed or just beat up. That was just normal reality to me, and I don't, a lot of people say, well, you had a hard life, and they give me that, they write me and they feel bad for me, or, and that's not what I'm looking for. Well, I don't want anybody to think that, because my message to kids are, we're not all born into a spoon-fed house. We were not all lucky as far as having, perfect families or, perfect pasts, or we didn't have a great childhood. And I don't want kids to think that's an excuse to, use as an excuse, poor me syndrome, and not take, blame for whatever you did. Like I try to, whatever happened to me is my own choice, is my own fault. And I don't like to lay the blame nowhere else, because if you do that, you don't move forward in your life. And I'll never be sitting here doing what I'm doing now. I'm trying to help other youth. So I don't have regrets, and I don't blame it on anybody but myself. I had those choices. I might not have had it as easy as somebody else, but then there's somebody who had it worse than me. So that's life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Stuart McFarlane in the chat says, damn, John. Ariel says yes. Thank you for sharing your perspective. Stuart McFarlane says, making me all emotional and stuff. Damn, John. That's what Stuart's saying in the chat. And Arab says, this guy spitting facts. And Abayan says, such profound words. You earn my respect, John. Arab also says, what a cool man. Anyways, yeah, so thank you very much, John. I appreciate always how candid you are. We got still a lot of questions to go through. We'll keep it. We'll switch tones a little bit very quickly. Very quick question. Duck asks, when it comes to breakfast, do you put milk in first or do you put cereal in first with your cereal?
Hey, that's a good question. Okay, so it's always cereal first, and the reason for that is I like to soak my cereal. So I make sure I hit all the top cereal with the milk on top, and I drink lactate milk. I can't take regular milk.
These are
and I let it.
That's great.
I've done it since I'm a kid, and I play with it. And my father used to yell at me, "Stop playing with your food and eat it." But I wanted to soak it first, so I like.
No, I'm the same way with you. I would put cereal in first. And I think I'm going to say it. I'm going to give the hot opinion right here. Anyone that does otherwise is a degenerate. So let us know in the chat what you prefer. Would you prefer, do you do milk or cereal first? But yeah, that on that same note, very quick question. 2 quick ones. We'll just rattle through these ones. Colored McLovin asks, boxers or briefs?
Always boxers. I don't wear briefs. Or I wear, I don't know, like wrestling shorts with the, I never wear briefs. Yeah.
These are the hard hitting questions that
I like these questions because they're everyday human being questions. So
yeah, and then lastly, of these type of questions, we also have this is an important one. You are Albanian, but you obviously grew up around Italians. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
You know what? You know why I do like pineapple on pizza. Believe it or not, I never liked it, never tried it. But when I went on the run, I lived in Spanish countries. So I lived in Cuba, I lived in Colombia. And in Colombia, it was like almost everybody put, where I was living anyway in Barranquilla, everybody had pineapple on their pizza. So I was dating a girl who would order pizza and always order pineapple. And I looked at her like she was nuts. And then I started eating it and I liked it. So to answer that question, I did like it. I haven't had it since I'm back home in the States, but you reminded me this week I'm going to have pineapple on my pizza.
I'm the same way. I enjoy pineapple on pizza. That's another hot take I'm sharing on the stream. But yes, okay. So now this is a question we have from a couple people. So Suzlena and Rohan Sava both asked, kind of, your first kill? They said, did you find it easy? And what went through your mind during your first kill?
Well, I think one of my first kills wasn't what everybody talks about. And I've talked about this. There's the first kill, what you do for the mob. There's the first kill, what you do with your friends. And there's a first kill that I think I did out of protecting one of my friends. They called me earlier one night, and I've done some violence prior to this, but this was a personal friend of mine. He was like, when we were kids, I don't know how old the audience is, but there was a show called Starsky and Hutch. And it was a police show. It was kind of like Miami Vice. And we used to run around at kids and wear the shirts. And he was my best friend, one of my best friends since we're little children. And he happened to be in a neighborhood bar with another guy. And I've told this story about me batting 3 guys. 3 bikers went in, and it was 2:00 in the morning. And the door had a lock on it. It was a heavy wooden door because of all the violence. And it was kind of on Jamaica Avenue near East New York, Brooklyn, and the borderline of Brooklyn and Queens, where I lived. And I got a phone call down in my basement where I lived at the time, in one house with my whole family. And they told me that 3 guys threatened my friend Joe, and he was in there with another guy, Kenny Nicole, still alive. Joe passed away unrelated in a car accident later on in life. And they couldn't leave the bar. I said, just stay there. Instead of grabbing a gun at that time or grabbing other guys and tell them to meet me there, that wasn't my mentality. And I just grabbed a baseball bat. I was in a bathrobe, slippers, and I pulled up. I seen the 3 guys in the front, and I had a car phone. I told Joey in the car phone, I called the bar. I says, and this is one of my drug spots, by the way. And I said, come outside. And he started to walk out. The guy said something about me minding my business, and I just put the bat across his head. And I just turned over my right shoulder, and one of the other guys was on the right of me, and I hit him across the head face with the bat. And I ended up batting all 3 guys, and killed one of the guys, became a vegetable. And I ended up hitting Kenny Nicole, one of my friends, by accident, because he came running up, and I didn't, you're just in that mode. I'm just swinging away at everybody. And the only guy I didn't hit was my good friend Joey. Kenny was my friend too, but not like Joey was. So I ended up driving him about an hour and a half out to Long Island to another hospital. I didn't want to walk him in a neighborhood hospital, obviously, after what I just did. And later on, the guy was a vegetable, and I believe passed away. So that was probably the first kill, and it was me protecting my friend. It wasn't anything over the mob world.
Wow, yeah, I remember you telling me that story when we did our interview for BuzzFeed a while ago. Yeah, the guy's question is, what went through your mind during that time? Is it kind of like one of those times where they talk about in books or stuff, like the kind of like a blind moment where everything's foggy, or was there some sort of like clarity to it?
No,
Or did you just see red?
um, no, I did a lot of work by myself, which was unusual. And people question me. When people question, you might be exaggerating. You know how people are. So, Kenny Nicole's one of the guys that's alive. I got a very good memory. The owner of the bar, his name's Buddy. I don't know if he's alive. He's an ex-cop. And the girl that was working the bar, her name was Kathy. And I tell people, I says, you can, when people are questioning, well, is he exaggerating the story? Did this really happen like that? And I think it's good to explain those details so people understand there's no way I can remember everything the way I do. But I had a clarity of when I do this stuff, I'm calculated. I know what I'm going to do before I walk up to them. I know which guy I was going to hit where they were standing. And if I was insecure about it, I would have brought a gun. And I didn't bring any guns, and I have tons of them. And I had 1 million guys in the neighborhood. Everybody's working for me. I could have had 30 guys there if I wanted. So I just am the way I am, the way I do things, and the way my dad raised me. And, sometimes it's a bad way of, but in other ways I'm very focused. And I know before I get there, I'm not losing. And I don't know what made me have that confidence. And when I talk about it today, it's almost like I'm talking about a different person, but it's who I was. So.
Yeah. Pauls asks, was there a time when you were scared for your life? If so, why?
I don't think in the street, and here's another thing, I'd walk in a place and guys would have a gun and I would have a gun. It was almost that I believed I was invincible somehow. I convinced myself. There wasn't a fear of dying that way. I don't still have a fear of dying that way. I had a fear of other things, heights. And like I was saying, I'm not afraid of speed, but I'm afraid of heights. I don't like heights. And I don't have a fear of dying from being killed, no. And I think that's what gave me that extra edge that other guys that I think were faking it. And, and I wasn't. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to die. And I always had this thing about illness. I used to be a hypochondriac. I overcame that. I think that, talking to therapy, hypochondriac was something I dealt with because I didn't want to deal with the street or my problems. I'd rather deal with health and think, for some reason I brought it to that. And then over years of therapy, I don't have that hypochondriac feeling like I used to have.
That's great. And so thank you again, everyone, for all these great questions. We're still going through them all. Again, if you have questions, join the Discord. It's linked somewhere. Submit your questions there because obviously we're missing stuff in the chat because it's flying a little bit. So send your questions in there. We appreciate everyone that's sending in questions for John, and thank you, John, for being able to answer them so candidly. As well as also, if you're on the Discord, the legendary Strawberry Possum is doing a giveaway. Are you familiar with the Hitman games, John? You've played one of them for BuzzFeed. You watched Hitman, the video game, right?
Yeah, I played it, and I wear the shirt Hitman. If people out there aren't aware of that, they think I wear it because I was titled the Hitman in real life, but I wear it. There's a song out called Albanian Blood. Two young guys, brothers, Hitman and Rolla. They gave it to me as a gift. That's the name of one of the brothers, and they gave me a shirt, and I wear it, and everybody recognizes me from wearing that shirt. It stops me. And I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know if they know that shirt's from the song they made with me. They collaborated a song with me where I'm in a video, and it's called Albanian Blood, and it's about me. And they gave me that shirt as a gift, and I wear it often. Actually, I like it. It has the Albanian flag in the front and the word Hitman in the back. So it's
that's fun. Yeah. Well, yeah. So. Well, either way, on the theme of tonight's live chat with John, Strawberry Possum is doing a giveaway of the Hitman games on the Discord. So join there, drop in your questions as well. Join the giveaway if you want a free copy of Hitman. And who knows, maybe someday you'll play it with John Alite. Who knows if he's in your neck of the woods. The next question we have here for you is an interesting one. It's one that that we kind of touched upon when we did the video together. But I mean, like, we kind of talked about, the question is from Aina, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. Were there any instances where you hesitated to complete or accept a job?
Yes. And there's Dennis Harrigan is a guy, and I'm going to speak about it tomorrow, actually, on my podcast. And my podcast will be filmed tomorrow, but it'll be out a week after that or a week and a half after that. Dennis Harrigan was a guy that was involved in the drug business with a hitman called Tommy Karate. There's a book out about him called The Butcher. And they asked me, John Gotti Sr., when he gets locked up and he's in prison in MCC on this case that gave him life, and when he dies in prison, he's with Tommy Karate. Tommy Patera is his real name. And Tommy asks John, can I hit Dennis Harrigan for him? They wanted me to kill him. I think that message came to me at about 91. Pete Gotti, John's brother, brought it to me. And I refused to do the hit. And the reason why I refused to do the hit was Dennis Harrigan was involved with a friend of mine, Greg Ryder, whose body was never found. He was about 21 years old. And I believe Tommy was behind that murder of Greg Ryder. And Dennis Harrigan was involved in that case. And he became a witness, I believe, against Tommy Karate. And Tommy needed him to get hit so he wouldn't be convicted on some of his murders. He was convicted, I believe, of or charged with at least 7 murders. And they wanted me to hit Dennis, and I refused that hit.
All right. Vi, or V88 asks, have you ever utilized cleaners? Do you pay them a part of your cut, or do they get paid from the person ordering the hit?
That's a funny question, actually. So some of this, I know it's not funny. You know, I got a dry sense of humor, and anybody that doesn't understand that, I don't mean it in an offensive way. When we do a piece of work, you keep it as tight-knit as possible. And, you know, especially in these days, things have really changed with technology. But back then, if somebody had to be hit and the order came down, it would be 2, 3, 4 of us tops, and we don't want anybody else to know about that murder. So I'll give you an example. When we did a hit of a guy, after we did the hit, the team of guys I took with me, I gave each one an order. One I gave him that night, and I told him, go throw this gun away. I went and threw another gun away in the ocean. Another guy, I told him take the cause. One guy, I told him to burn his. The other guy, I told him to take it and get it clean, make sure there's ammonia all over the rugs in it because of the DNA. And the last guy, I told him the same thing. I gave him an order of handling some, you know, conversations that needed to be had. But I told him to make sure there's no phones used, and he goes from house to house and meets each guy separately, not together. So there's a formula that we usually follow, obviously, to keep it close-knit as possible. And so there's no slip-ups, and law enforcement don't find out about it. And if they do, there's no DNA anyway.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you again to everyone that's submitting questions, by the way. Thank you again for John for your answer. We've got comments for you. We got Natalie says to you, John, that, you know, this is touching and you speak with honesty and with such raw emotion. Finds this really incredible. So thank you, John, for always being candid and open. And again, John does his own podcast. It's linked down below, Johnny and Gene Show, among all of his other works. So check him out to hear him talk on a more regular basis. And also, if you're tuning in late, thank you for coming in. Don't worry, you still have time to get your questions in. You know, we have the Discord open, so throw your questions in the Discord. We'll just keep on going through. We have a question from Strawberry Possum, who asks, Michael Franzese, who I know you have opinions on. I've seen your show. But he said of the Colombo family, said in an interview that Donnie Brasco and The Godfather Part 2 were 2 of the most accurate movies pertaining to the portrayal of the mob, while other movies such as Analyze This, The Sopranos, as well as the movie he was portrayed in, Goodfellas, weren't as on the money in some respects. When it comes to fictional portrayals of the mob, what comes to mind as shows or movies that did it right, or ones that dropped the ball, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, me and Michael Francis, listen, we all have disagreements, and I want to clear the air about something. Me and Michael have respect for each other. We're friends. We do send messages and talk. And, you know, sometimes you say things, him, me, him, me, another guy, us. But we all like each other, so I don't want anybody to think that we don't. And actually, whatever I might have said in the past or he said is, you know, water under the bridge. You know, we're all men, we're gentlemen. You know, you might have a bad day, you might say something stupid, whatever. But to go past them, you know, Michael understands the life. We both did Netflix together, you know, Fear City, for the people that don't know. Mm-hmm. And we all have our opinions on what we believe in the street. And I believe The Godfather, like he said, it made a great movie. There is some, you know, there's some underlining things of the movie I really enjoyed. But what the audience got to understand is And this is the biggest thing I talk about with all these movies, whether it's Goodfellas, if it's people who have ever watched State of Grace with Sean Penn, with the Irish mob involved with the Italian mafia. It was a great movie. A lot of these things, some of these people that are, helping to make these movies, the development and the language in them are great. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing with all these movies are there is no loyalty. That's for the movies. There is no guy gives up his life for another guy. For the most part, it's just treachery, and it's about money, and it's about self-preservation. And at the end of the day, you might have one or two guys that believe different, and maybe they're in a position because they need to rely on other guys. But otherwise, this isn't the Army. This isn't a good friend of mine, Brian Basho, who's a war hero veteran. He's got a podcast that I do with him once in a while called I Got You Six. And it's about, guys really taking each other's backs and willing to die from under the belief of the freedom of America and this flag. And that's what I talk about. I talk about our veterans and the heroes that actually went out there and risked their lives so me and you and the rest of us can enjoy our freedoms the way we do. And I think too many people take that for granted. So the movies are the Godfather's a movie, but if you watch Hitler and a documentary of what went on, that's reality of life. And those heroes are really those guys in uniform. I'm never going to change my perspective of that. I talk about that on a regular basis these days.
Yeah, I know that the whole your views on treachery and the lack of loyalty in the mob is the reason why you got out of it, right? I remember that from the time we spoke, and I guess because I guess someone was basically asking, what persuaded what persuaded you to retire. So I mean, that's kind of it, right? That's why you kind of left the life, was what you perceived as just a lack of loyalty within.
I left a life, which, and I can repeat it for the guys. I'm a very emotional guy for people that, for so many people that said that, people will say, well, he doesn't seem so tough. He cries. I'm an honest guy. If you're not a human being and you have no heart, no feeling, you won't cry, I guess. I says, I love my family. I love my children. So yeah, of course you cry. But I made this ultimate sacrifice for the mafia in America, the Italian American mafia. And that was to leave my family and leave my children and go on the run and not to rat against other members of the Italian mafia, guys, my enemies, all my friends. I didn't want to talk against them. And when I ran and I left this country and I left my family and I left my millions of dollars behind, and I chose not to live on the water, on the ocean with my money, which I could have did for the rest of my life comfortably, and my family. I chose to abandon my family, stay loyal to the mafia. And while I did that on the run and in those penitentiaries in Brazil, the bosses, whether it was Gotti Jr., whether it was some of his captains, some of his friends, other associates, they were all meeting with the government, all debriefing with the government, all giving information with the government. And when I was sitting in those penitentiaries and I got that information, I shouldn't have been surprised, because I go through a litany of names of bosses in the history of the American mafia from every family that ratted, and the leaders that aren't loyal to the American and the Italian mafia when they're Italian and I'm Albanian. So I was a little bit of, I guess in my own way, brainwashed myself to believe in a life that doesn't exist. And I think that was my wake-up call after I left my family and I sat in those penitentiaries and I was getting information. One by one, guys were making statements against me. A captain, Ronnie, one of them says, in his opening statement, Johnny, it's a rogue loose cannon. He's a killer. He'll kill me if I'm not nice to him. When you hear these guys making this statement, and I'm Gotti's partner, and he says he's just a bookmaker, these statements are wake-up calls to like, what was I believing? What was I thinking? And it finally woke me up when I came home from those prisons and I came to the United States. And I looked at the litany of lists of people that were testifying and giving information against me. And I said, I got to be ashamed of myself for leaving my kids and my family for the belief of this. And it was just a rude awakening, and it brought reality to me. And it brought me on my mission of not running away, but staying here and telling people just what I just said, making sure that their children don't follow it, their husbands, wives, or any kid that glamorizes this life doesn't understand the life that I lived. I've been stabbed up, shot, battered myself, beat up, left in solitary confinement cells for almost a decade, in and out of lockups. And that's the reality of the life. And when you come out of that cell, there's nobody there for you. And that's what everybody needs to know. It's not about thinking you're a tough guy, because that doesn't bring you a future. So.
Thank you very much. As always, for the there's a lot more comments about you. Natalie says, much. This. She says this Q&A is much more wholesome than she expected. We also have, Q Promise. Thank you. I'm glad you're really liking this stream. Tana sends you lots of love for what you went through. And I guess we'll switch gears a little bit with another interesting non-mob related question. Do you believe? CS. Do you believe in aliens or other supernatural / paranormal things?
Excuse me, I'm coughing. I don't have COVID. Yeah, I actually do. I'm not like a big conspiracy theorist, but for people that don't have the knowledge of it or don't follow it, for every grain of sand that we have on the beach, we have that many planets and stars up in space. And I think it's naive for us, or completely naive for us, to believe there's nothing else up there. And we think we're that arrogant or egotistical to think we're the only thing that can exist in thousands and thousands and thousands of light years away from us to here. So I definitely, without a doubt, believe in aliens.
What about the supernatural? Ghosts? Have you ever had a ghostly encounter, Mr. Alita?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
I got to watch how I say this. They say, oh, this guy's really crazy. I wasn't, let's talk about faith in God, and then I'll talk about ghosts. So I was a little kid. My aunt was like my grandmother, grew up in the house with me. She passed away. I was scared to go to the wake, and I was sleeping on my couch, and I don't think I was sleeping. I think I was awake. I was about 8 years old, and she came to me, and I screamed like crazy. I was so afraid. And she was trying to talk to me, telling me it was all right, and I ran. And my father was like, get out of, my father was tough. Like, he would yell at you, get out of here. And my mother's trying to say, it's all right. But I really believed that I saw what I saw. And I'll give you another quick story. My friend Joey, when he passed away, his name was Black Cloud, right? We nicknamed him that. And he bought a car, and he ended up dying flipping his car on the White Van Wyck Expressway, if people know Queens. And that's how he passed away. And when he passed away, that night I woke up and I called. I didn't know that he died. And I had a really bad feeling, and I called everybody to see if everybody was okay, and everybody was okay. And I found out that he passed away. So that was a slight something that was telling me supernatural that something happened. My friend Jason Donegan, he's a psychic, and we're very good friends. People that know, I was in a magazine called Hollywood magazine called The Psychic Godfather with me and Jason. And we went to go back to continue the story and make it quickly for you guys. When Joey gets buried and we have the church ceremony and procedure, not ceremony, but the funeral and the wake, and everybody was piling into the limousines. And there was 3 or 4 limousines at the time. We get out in the car and we're all ready to leave. All 3 cars wouldn't start. Now, we nicknamed him Black Cloud. He flipped his car and died from his car. And now all 3 cars won't start for no reason. They just pulled up. This is not a company I don't know. I do know the owners of the company. It wasn't somebody pulling out the caps. And they couldn't start the car. They went and they called, the limousine place that rented the limousines. The family rented the limousines from. They brought a mechanic. When the mechanic went under the hood to start the one car, try to see what was going on, all 3 cars started. So when somebody can explain some of that stuff to me, maybe I won't believe in what I believe in. But I don't believe we're the only ones here. And I believe there's a Netflix special now also about people that death experiences and stuff. So yeah, I do believe in that stuff. I'm not really that crazy. I promise.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. And you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. John Alite is a Bugara. He believes. We have a believer here. And let's try getting Shane to tell this man otherwise to his face. But yeah, no, that's great. And I'm on the same page with you there. I agree about aliens too. I've said it before as well. The whole arrogance thing. It is very arrogant for us to think that we're the only life form in the universe. But yes, just so many questions. Thank you for your time, sir. Let's see. Well, I guess we have a couple of questions. Sarvina has a question. Hanju Kim have questions kind of about the modern mob life, because obviously you're out of it now. But Hanju's question is specifically, Hanju asks, the Gambino crime family has strong historical ties to the Sicilian mafia, which has recently been driven to the brink of extinction by repeated law enforcement arrests. Are the days also numbered for the Gambinos?
If you look at, and I've talked about this on a lot of shows, and some historians discuss this with me, in my opinion. And there's two things that bring strength to an organization. And one of them is fear. The other one is structure. And the mob in these days have lost both. And the reason why they lose the fear in the mob is because of the type of guys they are straightening out in the mafia these days. They think by straightening out, meaning me, member of the mob or associates, they're allowing guys that should know it, not even be near the street. They don't understand it. They're not intelligent enough. They're not tough enough. They came from backgrounds that, they just don't get it. And I think when you think that you're bringing strength by numbers, it's a big mistake. So I've said it 100 times. Instead of 100 guys, just keep 20 guys around, 20 good guys, 20 intelligent guys, 20 guys that are very capable of taking care of things within themselves. If the 21st or 22nd guy comes along, so be it. Then make it 22 guys or 23. But don't go outside of that and try to, recruit guys and water it down, because you're only weakening the family. And the other thing is the structure. And what I mean by structure is they got to understand the life, and they got to understand what the organization's about. And they have to understand respecting each other. It's like me and Michael. You just brought up Michael Francis. Michael is a gentleman. He's a businessman. He knows how to make money. We might have our differences, but at the end of the day, we respect each other, and and we are friends. So in that life, you have to have you got to have a humbleness to you, and you got to also understand what the mob's about. It's not about us as individuals. It's us as a group, and as a group, we're powerful. And that's one family. And people think that our families are all against each other. It's not true. There's 5 families in New York, and there's the outfit in Chicago, and there's the DeCavalcanti family in North Jersey, there's Philadelphia mob. And as a one unity combined, we become a very strong force within the United States government and infrastructure. But when you play by your own rules and by yourself, and one family thinks they're going to dictate something, they're just weakening the rest of what we believe in, La Cosa Nostra in the American mafia. And, just because I don't believe in it any further, there's guys that do swear loyalty to it, still believe in it. But if you're going to believe in it, that means you got to structure it. And that's where I disagree with all of them. That's why I'm not involved with them anymore. And there's guys that I respect that are still involved in that life. I wish they were out of that life, but they're grown men. They chose that life. They're not my enemies unless they choose to become my enemy. I don't choose to make any of them my enemy. So if they come that way towards me, I'm still Johnny Alite, Johnny Alita, Johnny Alite, whatever word, the last name people pronounce it different. I'm still that guy, and I still understand that life. I just choose a different path for me, my family, and for the people I talk to. I try to steer you away from that life and into a good life. So that's where my agendas are.
Thank you, sir. 2 very quick this or that questions. You can just answer with one answer. Dog or cat?
I had dogs my whole life.
This is Gabriella's question.
I just recently got a cat. Well, I got several cats, but one was homeless, and a friend of mine asked me to take her in.
Very sweet.
And now I'm a crazy cat guy too. So I'm mixed feelings. I love them both. I love animals. I love animals, and I hate to see when people are cruel to animals. So they're innocent, and animals love you. They're loyal. If you're good to them, they're good to you. So unlike a lot of human beings.
Very true. Paula Diaz asks, vanilla or chocolate ice cream?
Definitely vanilla ice cream with chocolate cake.
Oh, Oh yes, I could go for the chocolate cake right now. But yeah, we'll go with these. We got a couple questions. This is actually about your lovely lady, but more not specifically about her. But do you have a partner right now? Which we know, yes. How do they feel about your history? This is from Sarah. Bean Spars asks.
Any woman that's with me is tougher than me. So no, I don't know. My history. Listen, you know, I I think they don't judge me. Anybody that gets involved with me, I think they look at me for who I am today. Can't do anything about my past. I can only use my past to try to help somebody else's future. So, and that's what I do. They asked me on Crime Watch, do you think it's right that I became, they called me a celebrity. I don't know if I'm a celebrity. In my eyes, I'm not. I know in other people's eyes, I guess I am, because I'm doing films and magazines and things like that and shows. But I think that I use it for a positive way. So when they ask me, think it's right, and I'm saying, if I'm saving somebody's life, I would think that's the right thing to do. I mean, I don't know if you'd be happy if I went back in my old life. I says that, so I don't understand that question when somebody's negative about what I'm doing. I can't take back what I used to do. I can only move forward and try to do the right thing. So if I'm doing the right thing, and not for a year or two, I've been doing the right thing for 10 years now. I think I have a track record of proving myself at this point, and saying that I'm sorry if you're going to judge me, but I'm not judging myself. I'm just going to look at helping kids. That's where I stand, or people, not just kids.
Wonderful. This is just a comment from someone. Spooky Emo NB says, as someone who didn't grow up as you did, but was also raised with blind family, in air quotes, loyalty engraved in me, thank you for your honesty and your truth. It's enlightening and heartfelt.
Thank you.
E asks, what do you consider to be the happiest point of your life?
The day they let me back out of jail. You know what, when you go through what I went through, there's a lot of turmoil with your family, and that's what people don't see. And a lot of it is some of those relationships aren't mended. The ones with my children all mended. So that's got to be probably the happiest thing for me, is to be able to be friendly with my kids again, friends with my kids, not friendly, friends with my kids. I became not just a father to them, but a really good friend to them. And, we respect each other, and they understand now. They're not young. Before, they didn't understand it. They thought I abandoned them. And, that's my own guilt. I got to live with why I made those choices and to leave my family. That, when people, you get a lot of people, especially now in the media, and I'm talking about the trolls on computers. I can't control all these, because they're weak people that do that. They're dummies that, want to talk nonsense and never lived it. So I try not to judge anybody. I know we all have faults. Sometimes we judge people, and then I step back and I say, I don't like anybody judging me, so I'm not going to judge them. I don't know exactly what went on with their lives for them to do some of the things they've done too. So it's hard, unless you've been through what they've been through, to be able to judge somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm going through this question right here. I guess this is going back to like the life you led when you were an enforcer. Atlas asks, was there a time when you were almost caught or your cover almost blown? So I guess you can interpret that question however you want, either in the grand scheme of like, the authorities, or just within an individual like assignment, I guess.
Well, in this major case that I got locked up for, people in the media that, have told this story, or journalists, they haven't really got it across correctly. I mean, just now Forbes came out with me and Dave Gentile, who's a really great mentor to me. He's an ex-FBI agent. We're best friends now. For 20 years, he's helped me change my life in so many ways. And I think people have the understanding that I got caught. I never got caught. I never got caught with anything, absolutely nothing. I got caught by 54 informants against me. And that's
54, Jesus.
And that's the message that I'm trying to convey. And so people know that I really did move forward with my lives. There's guys that actually am serious gangsters, and I've talked about them on my podcast, that actually tried to kill me and take my life. They were guys against me, and we went back and forth between each other's crews, and we killed guys and hurt guys. They're actually some of my best friends now, because we walked away from that life. And like I said earlier, I got respect for some of my enemies. And, and I got respect for some of my friends who were in that life. But when you walk away from that life, guys that testified against me, I still talk to some of them. I'm very friendly with some of them. because it's done for me. That's the past. It's like leaving, the war. I use the Army a lot and the Marines. And, when you walk away from that life, if you're honest and you really walk away from it, you'll hold no animosity. So for me to be a different person, a better person, I got to let that go. And I did let it go. The people I don't talk to or I hold that animosity is because of what they're doing with their lives still, and the negativity of what they're doing. So if somebody tried to kill me and were serious guys who were very capable of killing me because they killed many guys, that I changed my life if they're my friends and I'm hugging them and going out with them, and we're not involved in that life anymore. So I got a respect for them too, because their integrity is like mine. We shook hands. We said it's over. And in that world, you can never trust anybody. So to say that about somebody, it's a major compliment when I'm saying it about some of these guys.
Absolutely. Well, we'll keep this going for another 20 minutes. Then we're gonna let Mr. Alita go because it's probably getting late over on the East Coast. But yeah, just quickly, thank you again for submitting your questions. If you want to submit, there's still a lot to go through question-wise. But if you want to submit one, just send one through to the Discord. It's pinned above. Join the Discord, submit your questions there. The questions are getting filtered through to me. And then of course, Strawberry Possum also has the Hitman game giveaway, and Discord's fun too. I hang out there every day during the week ahead of each stream, so hang out there with me, hang out there with us. We play Among Us, play other games. We might even do a movie night this weekend. Maybe we'll do a Discord movie night of Mamma Mia. John Alita, are you a fan of Mamma Mia?
Yeah, actually I am.
That's what I like to hear. That is the scoop. That's the takeaway from this. Have you seen both?
Yes, yeah.
There we go. Which of the dads do you relate to most? These are the questions. These are the questions I have.
The second one I didn't watch as much as the first one, so I'd have to go with the first. The second, I watched parts of it, but it wasn't intently so. I'm going to have to study the father on the second, but to give you a better answer on that. But so for now, I got to go with number one.
That's very funny. You know what's funny? There is a couple questions regarding like guilty pleasures. So Mamma Mia, obviously guilty pleasure of John Alita, former mob enforcer. Do you happen to have what other bands or artists or musicians or maybe shows, movies that people might be surprised to hear you like? People have asked about your favorite musicians and stuff like that or shows. Let's talk about specifically guilty pleasures.
You know what? I listen to a lot of people are surprised. I like opera. I listen to a lot of classical music. I love a lot of Albanian music. I listen to a lot of Albanian music, and people think I grew up in America. Why do I listen? But I grew up on my grandfather's knee in my house, and he had the Albanian music on constantly. So I would be down there while he was drinking coffee. I'd sit on his lap, and he'd tell me, listen to the music so you get used to it. And, I listened to a lot of music my dad liked, obviously. Back in the day, he would listen to Jackie Wilson or Frank Sinatra or Teddy Pendergrass or Dean Martin or any of these guys. So my mom, Doris Day and Barbara Streisand. So I love music. So it doesn't have to be, necessarily, I'll listen to Pop Smoke and, different rap artists. And so I just love music. But I think what people would be surprised in that I like classical and opera would probably be the biggest surprise.
No, that's fantastic. We got this question was asked a few times throughout the course of this. I don't know if this is your area of expertise, but if you're a pro wrestling fan, do you prefer WWE or AEW?
I didn't watch that much wrestling. My grandfather used to love it. And in my day, San Martino was big, Andre the Giant. So I knew some of the names, Hulk Hogan. His son was actually in prison with me when he got in trouble. The kid, he's a nice kid. And Terry's his real name, Hulk Hogan. He used to be partners with one of my partners in a nightclub called Hogs in Tampa. So I followed him a little bit. Ric Flair he had a gym next door to me.
Oh, wow.
A nightclub called American Cowboy in Florida. So I know some of the guys, so I followed them a little bit, but I wasn't an overly, big fan of it. Just the people I knew I followed. But I like it. It's good entertainment. I know the kids like it. I mean, it's a great, big industry.
There you go, Annabella Garcia. Got your question answered. And for me, if you wanted the answer from me, I'm a bigger WWE fan, but I'm enjoying what AEW is doing, especially because I'm a big fan of Kenta, and I'm glad to see Kenta doing his thing.
Well, I'll cut in one thing, and I'll leave it at that. They're great athletes. That's one thing. People don't understand the respect of what they do. throwing their bodies around the way they do. They're in some shape and they are great athletes.
Yes, absolutely. That's why, yeah, anyone that I always have a bit of a pickle with anyone that wants to call it fake, it's scripted. Because you know what? Yeah, it's scripted, but it's they put their bodies on the line.
No, they're in some shape. It's not fake as far as their ability. I mean, it might be scripted as far as who's going to win and all that, and they put on a show with it, but they're, they're professional athletes, and anybody's wrong to say anything different about that.
Absolutely. And as we continue to start winding down, like we'll just go quickly to some of the major enforcer type questions, which are, Raya Rose asked very early on, what would you say was the craziest, bloodiest hit you did?
I mean, I did a lot of bad things, but as far as, I walked in a bar and I talked about this, and I went after a guy, and I pulled a gun out, and they all pulled guns on me, and I knew they were gonna. And this is part of my mentality. It was because I was after somebody over money. And, sometimes the thinking process, I look back and I go, why would I do that? But I went in and I fought the guy. I put the gun down. I fought the guy. After I finished the fight, I got up and I shot the guy in the head. And everybody just looked at me because I went in to shoot him. And a friend of mine that was friendly with him, he gave me his word, everybody put their guns down, but, fight him. Don't be a punk. So, and the guy wasn't a big guy, so I'm not going to tell you the guy was a big guy. He was my size. Tough, really a tough guy. I beat him, and I beat him again. I couldn't keep him on the floor. He was high. He was smoking angel dust at the time. And then I said, is it all done, Joe? He goes, yeah. I says, all right, give me my gun back. I turned around and shot the guy in the head. He actually lived. And I threw him in the trunk of my car. But it was bloody because it was pouring rain. We were both bleeding at the time of the fight. After I shot him, I picked him up. And I had his blood all over me, and it was just a crazy scene of what I did and the mentality I had when I wanted to do something. I was actually willing, so you understand how crazy my mentality was. And I look back, it's like I'm talking about somebody else. I was actually willing to kill him to get killed. And so to accomplish what I wanted to do, this is how far off in that life I was, that I was willing to sacrifice myself to do what I was supposed to do with this guy. And, that's when you know that something was, when I take it to that extra level, I understood other guys wouldn't take it there. I just had something about me that was fully engaged in that life. And, I'm not that same person I was then, obviously, but back then I was that person. I mean, there's a million incidences like that, I went and shot 4 guys at a time, or 3 guys when I wanted them. And, it was just part of who I was back then.
Yeah, no. And, just to answer, to respond to that question, C says, well, this is an earlier comment, but C, one of the people in the chat says, thank you for being so open with us, your past, and our silly stuff. They appreciate you.
I like the silly stuff because it's...
Well, we can keep it light for the next one, which is very simple. Bean Sparza asks, what are your Valentine's plans with your lady? Have any?
No plans. Nothing special. Just you can't even go out to dinner. So
that is unfortunately very true.
Stay in the house and light a candle and eat more chocolate cake. And
play some Mamma Mia. Put Mamma Mia on.
Tell me I got fat. So
Miss Ice Blast asks, if you were to retire and make $60,000 a year, where would you move in the U.S.? So basically, do you have a favorite place in the U.S. that you would just a dream retirement place?
I love the beach, so it would have to be somewhere in tropical. And I'm ready to make that move pretty soon. I want to relax. I had a hard life, and now I look to enjoy it and just go out, have a good time with real friends, not the fake ones I was used to in the past. I have some really good friends, and I spend time with them, spend time with my family, kids, and that's really what life's about now.
Absolutely. And I guess, looking, obviously you've done there was a question earlier too that actually I missed, and I forget who asked it. It was in the YouTube chat. This is why I would prefer them coming in the Discord. But someone was asking, I actually found it. Natalie's question. This is an earlier one, but I think it's interesting because it's related to what you do now, because I kind of want to highlight some of the work you do and kind of like where you are now in life. But quickly, the question from Natalie is whether you think prison does more harm than good for reform of those on the streets. what could be better? Because I know you do a lot of work in prison reform. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think prison itself needs to be reformed completely. I don't want to get
Good night, Stuart. Please go
too
on.
political with it, but I grew up in a racial area where it's mixed black, white, Spanish. I didn't grow up at all believing. I don't even like talking about race at this point. I think that if it's in somebody's heart, whether no matter what color, religion you are, if you have that insecurity, you're going to have that insecurity. But I think overall, people are generally pretty good people, and I think that jail needs to have something different than just locking keys up and putting people in. It does nothing for you. I mean, I spent years in jail. That's not the answer. And I think that's part of what I'm trying to get at, and try to reach some of these kids and say, every time you hurt yourself, look in the mirror and shoot yourself. Every time you hurt somebody else, you look in the mirror and shoot yourself, because you're just gonna just destroy your own life. And the answer isn't through violence. I tried it, and that's not going to work. That's not going to get you anywhere. You got to learn to like yourself and figure out a way to move forward with your life, not backwards. And when we go on the street, we think we're moving forward because of the money and because of some of the things, but actually we're taking steps backwards. And eventually you're going to pay the dues for that. And I think the prison system, I mean, I don't even know where to start. I got a book out, prison rules. And, I talk about the difficulty of jail and the situations you get yourself into in jail, because you got a guy that's doing 20 years, you might be doing a year. How do you handle problems with that guy doing 20 years when he doesn't have much to lose? And then, he wants to screw with you over a telephone or over your commissary, or, so many nonsense things that go on in jail. And I think they got to change the way they put guys in jail and stop putting all the young guys together, because the young guys fight too much. If you separate them a little more, the fighting will be a little different. If you get old time jailers, we call old time jail guys, cats, or whatever you want to call them, they have a different mentality. There's not a lot of the older guys, and no one talks about it, that are in prison. They actually try to do the right thing with kids. A lot of them do talk to them when they're in there. And, jails and locking somebody up like that just doesn't do anything. Not for them there, and not when they get out in the future. So there's got to be a complete revamp of the system, in my belief.
Thank you for your answer, sir. And thank you for the work you do in prison reform. We are in the final stretch, the last 10 minutes. So everyone get your final questions in. We're racing through the last few questions. So again, throw your questions. Join the Discord. It's pinned. That's where the final questions will be filtered through. There are two questions here that I'm going to kind of combine into one. Mothman Barbie is basically asking, what is the most unexpected way in which your former profession affected your current day-to-day life? I'm going to combine that with a question by E regarding, do you currently struggle with any mental illnesses because of the life you led? And I know that is something we've talked about, but please, yeah.
I've talked about this. I don't think anybody lived my life and had the violence I had. Like, people's under the belief that all mob guys are violent. That's not true. It's probably 2% of us. The rest are, guys that are hanging around, or, and you got probably the top 5% that are big money makers. The rest are, just following following us. They might have positions, or, political, because of, either political positions that they didn't deserve, and like anything else, there's nepotism and everything else. But I think the two things: if you're in the street, you're not sleeping. You're not sleeping because you got a million things on your mind. Am I going to get locked up today? Does somebody want to kill me today? Am I going to make money to pay my rent because I'm not going to work on a regular job? Those are the things. So you don't sleep is the biggest thing, I think, that affects you day to day, every day, no matter what. Because it's not normal to go out and hustle illegally day and night. Because what comes with that is every time you put a key in your car, you're worried about somebody coming up behind you, shooting you in the head, beating you over the head. Every time you open the door to your house, you're worried about the police coming to kick your door in. So no, you're not gonna. And with the violence I had, and this is the reason why I get along with the Marines, and they're very friendly with me and I'm friendly with them, is because of all the violence we've seen. A lot of us have that PTSD, and you got to work at that post-traumatic stress disorder for people that don't know what that meant. And there's ways to work through it. And some of it is through therapy. Some of it's to talking to people that relate to you. And some of it is, when you help other people, like, I try to do. it's, it's not one way. People think, wow, this guy's a great guy. He's helping me. No, I'm helping myself too. So I don't want anybody to think that this doesn't help me. It does help me also. So it's a mutual thing, and it's paying it forward. And hopefully by me saying what I say, somebody says it to somebody else. And, and that, 25% of the world that talks nonsense on computers, their insecurities and their belief that they're tough guys. That'll change if you got to throw them in a ring with one of those wrestlers you're talking about, or a fighter, or put them on the front line of where some of my friends in the Marines went. Then they don't talk that nonsense. And then a reality check comes in that your life could be lost. Because a lot of them talk to me this way too, or they write nonsense to guys like me because they know we're not out doing what we used to do. And, I feel bad for those guys because obviously they're lost to talk the way they do.
Yeah. Very quickly, Julia McW asks, this was earlier, Julia asks, we talked about the Goodfellas and the Godfather earlier. Very quickly, what about the Irishman? Would you say the Irishman was accurate?
I didn't really care for the Irishman. I thought it was a strain. Some of it was good. I think Pesci was good. I think, Al Pacino was good. I didn't think De Niro was particularly good in it. I think it was just he's past, doing a movie like that at his age and stuff. I think movies like Goodfellas were good. I don't think, I was very personal friends with the Burke family and Frankie Burke that died, Jimmy Burke, who Robert De Niro played. For everybody else, it's a movie. These people grew up with me, so they were very friendly with me. I think that it doesn't depict Jimmy. Jimmy was a pretty nice guy, the father. They got him in a movie like he was an animal. I mean, listen, we're gangsters, and there's a lot of violence involved in it. And there's reasons for violence, usually. It's not just being violent because you're violent. It's usually some rule was broke that the public don't understand. But I think that, some of these movies are good. The Irishman, I just thought it was okay. I think it wasn't as good as it could have been. I thought Departed was very good. And that's exaggerated. Whitey Bulge, he didn't have a crew like that. He was a small crew of guys. But the movie itself, I thought, was done well.
Thank you for your insights there. As we're wrapping up down, a couple of quick comments from people. They're talking about PTSD. Stephanie says, my brother agreed. She agrees with you. My brother has PTSD. It should be talked about more. Pokrash says, PTSD is obviously off the charts when you shoot a gun, so they can't even imagine the level of trauma you've gone through. Tana says, PTSD is a really sensitive topic. Those who endure it need more love. So, it's good that we're able to have that conversation. Thank you for being so candid and open throughout this entire thing. I think we have time for one more question, so I'm looking for a good one. Does anything while I look for this final question, is there anything you kind of wanted to say to people as we wrap this up?
I want to say one thing, because one of the things I talk about is PTSD and emotions, and people that hold their emotions. And I think people need to just be, carefree. Don't care what anybody thinks or says. Just if you have some emotional issues, talk about it. Stop. Don't be insecure about it. No one's perfect. Everybody's, a lot of people full of shit trying to judge you. Don't worry about who judges you. If you have PTSD or anything else, I talk real straight and candid. You know that already. You know enough about me. So, the people that don't know me, if you're just real, people know when you're real. If you're full of shit, people know that too. So, everybody's got issues. They don't, people think that they're the only ones. There's thousands of people with the same issues we have. And just reach out to somebody and talk about it. It's not, there's nothing wrong with you if you have an issue. So what? And just address it. And that's the only way you're going to get through it.
Absolutely. It's interesting you bring it up because obviously therapy is a big, talk about. I'm looking to start therapy this year. I haven't been able to find one yet in my health insurance. Have you, if you don't mind talking about, have you gone to therapy? Is it something that you would, is that something that people in that life do?
I don't know about other people in that life, but I did for 30 years. And the woman I go see is Mickey Stratford, Rosemary, and she's helped me tremendously. She's a good woman. She knows me since I'm young. She knows my family. And nobody's perfect. I mean, if somebody finds somebody for me that's perfect, you let me know. But I don't know anybody that's perfect. So, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Like I said, who you or anybody that needs to talk it out is only talking. And so go find, you don't got to go to therapy. Talk to a friend that you can be honest with completely. And then, it'll in the long run, you'll be able to help the next person.
Fantastic. Very wise words. 2 final questions. John Doe asks, Pepsi or Coke?
Definitely Coke. Pepsi's too acidy or something. I don't know what it is.
It's weird. I grew up really loving Pepsi, but then now I like Coke more. I think Pepsi is just too sweet, but I don't even drink Coke very much anymore.
Yeah,
Either,
neither do I. I don't drink either one that much.
And then the final question, I figure, we'll just wrap it up with a question from me, John. What's your favorite song from Mamma Mia?
Oh God, I don't know. I'm terrible like that.
Oh, come on, John. Which one gets you dancing?
I swear I don't remember. I don't remember names of songs I really like either. So I'm really bad with that.
If you're just tuning in now, John and I were having a chat earlier about how much he enjoys Mamma Mia as well, and so that's why I brought up this question. He can't think of the song; it's fine. Either way, John. I guess lastly, do you have any guilty pleasure songs?
I used to love. I like sad ballads. Believe it or not, I like.
Yes.
So I like Desperado from the Eagles years ago.
Oh, I love Desperado.
And I like what's his name? He sings that song God Knows.
Kid God Rock. Only Knows? Beach
Kid
Boys?
Rock. Yeah, Kid Rock.
Oh, Kid Rock. Not familiar with that one.
I listen to everything. That's why I said it's hard for me to. I listen to a lot of, like I said, Gashi. If people don't know who Gashi is, look him up. Gashi. He sings a lot of good stuff, and he does, sings a lot of different type of music. I just like music all times, and I'm not good at remembering names of songs. So,
but you know what tunes get you? You know the names of songs. So when you hear them, it gets those feet tapping. It gets those feet tapping, doesn't it, John? Either way, John, thank you so much for your time. I know it's late over there. It's all over 10 p.m. Send my apologies to your.
I am not that old yet. I can stay up. So I enjoy shows like this. To be honest with you, it was a great, the audience was great questions. I like them. They're a little different than the usual stuff. So.
There you go. Shout out to the chat. Well, I appreciate it, John. We'll love to have you back in the future. Either way, thank you again to Mr. Alita. His links are all in the description. Check out his podcast, Johnny and Gene Show. He's got you got a show tomorrow. You're taping it, right? Or it's not live, right? Tomorrow.
Yeah, I got a lot of shows coming out this year. I got something else coming out. I already filmed them. I got a TV series coming out of Europe also, and I'm working on some other projects, new books coming out. So I just got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, people in the chat saying they want you back for sure. The people in the chat, they love you. They want you back. So hopefully we'll
I enjoyed that too. Tell them I like to come back. So.
Oh yes. Well, there you go. He appreciates you all too. They're sending you a lot of love.
Have a happy Valentine's Day Sunday.
Yes. So thank you very much, sir. I will hang up on you, but have a good night. Thank you again, and I look forward to speaking. I'll shoot you a text afterwards to say thank you.
All right,
I'm
great.
Stay live with these people for a little bit longer.
I'll see you
but
guys.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Woo. There it is. Wow, what a nice man, huh? I know it's hard to describe a hitman as a nice man. It's hard to kind of ameliorate kind of like that is that sticky territory. Where, like, how can you describe someone who murdered people as a nice man? And it is an interesting question, right? And let me know what you think in the chat. But and regardless of what he did, and again, murder. There's no excuse for murder. But at least with the cards he was dealt, he is doing the best he can to use his experiences for good. And at least on that front, that's commendable, in my opinion. So thank you so much for everyone that was here. I know it's a little different. We haven't really done a Q&A before, so I'm glad that you guys were here. You guys got some great questions. He had a lot of fun with them, and you can tell he enjoyed a lot of those silly questions. Next week, we have another mafioso joining us. We have Michael Franzese. So it continues. It does. This will all continue. So we have another Q&A next week before we return to kind of the regularly scheduled programming as far as games and all that fun stuff. So stay tuned in for next week, but then we'll go back to, we got to finish at Dead of Night. If you haven't watched before, we play at Dead of Night. We're 33% done with the game. So, we got to do that. We got to finish that game up. So we will definitely do that probably in a couple of weeks from now. Next Thursday we have Michael Franzese. We'll do another Mafia Q&A. We love Michael Franzese. I've done a few videos with him. Well, sorry, Romano wants me to play the game right now. I can't play the game right now. I got work to do, unfortunately. I got to edit this video. And I also obviously want to make sure right now, I think the title of this video is right now currently Ask a Hitman Anything. So I think if people tune in right now and they they tune in and see it's just my face and no Hitman, they might get a little annoyed. So we'll plan for that though. Yes, Tia's Love, you got to finish watching the second part. I'm looking at your chats right now. Stephanie, we're not playing at Dead of Night next week. It'll be next time. But yes, thank you so much to everyone that submitted all those fun questions. I know he really appreciated the questions. I enjoyed reading the questions. Thank you to people like JC in the chat who was forwarding stuff to the Discord. Thank you to Strawberry in the Discord. A big shout out to Strawberry Possum in the Discord, who was basically going through. I didn't have the Ask Hitman Anything channel open where people were submitting questions. So Strawberry Possum actually went through your questions and started sending me, the best, not best, but the ones that, best ones. No other way of putting it. So shout out to all of you for the great questions. It's been fun, and again, if you haven't joined the Discord before, it's pinned. Join us there. I hang out there during the week. Hopefully we'll do a Mamma Mia stream this weekend. I'm editing a movie on Saturday during the day, my feature film, but we can definitely put Mamma Mia on in the background while I'm working. If people want to watch that. Join the Discord if you haven't. If not, I'll see you guys next week on the stream. I can hang out, actually. What am I talking about? I can hang out for another 5-10 minutes to answer any questions. So how is everyone doing? I appreciate, again, everyone being so nice. Gas Pipe, good to see you. Kyle Somerville, Hitman Agent 47 is my favorite game character. Hanju loves Hitman, the game. And if you want to see our Hitman friend John Alite watch Hitman Deaths, there's actually a BuzzFeed video that I put in the Discord that my buddy Zach Shachinsky produced. Hey Maya in the moment, you're tuning in just at the very end. We were just winding down this stream, Maya, but shout out to Maya in the chat. My favorite color is blue, but I like orange too, and I'm wearing red right now, a little bit of red, because everyone, it's Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, so you're supposed to wear red for the next couple of days, so wear red if you haven't. Good luck, all that fun stuff. This is the only thing I have that's like closest thing to a lot of red. I don't actually have like an all red shirt or anything. I actually have an Arsenal jersey. I guess I could wear that. But for Valentine's Day, Merle and I have some fun plans for Valentine's Day. Nothing too crazy, I think Merle and I, we celebrate every day like it's Valentine's Day. But no, honestly, Valentine's Day is not like a huge thing for us. We'll just basically we do that. Last year we didn't do anything too crazy out there. This Sunday we're gonna get dinner at one of our favorite restaurants. Well, not at them. We're gonna pick it up because you can't eat at restaurants. And then we'll also play some tennis. We play tennis every Sunday if we can. So we'll be doing that. I'm sorry, Alice. Yes, I am an Arsenal fan. Merle's in the chat somewhere. Vinny says green's my favorite color. The blue and orange are my second and third. I like that, Vinny. Green's good. Tommy Jackson, are you a Bugara? I am a Bugara. I believe in the supernatural. Maybe not like the traditional way of looking at ghosts, but I do believe, I believe in spirits. I mean, that's part of the whole Buddhist tradition. I'll say Kenta for you, Lucas. Yeah, my brother and I love Kenta. We're big. My brother and I grew up watching wrestling. I don't think we watch it like live anymore. But I catch up on YouTube every now and then. My brother will come on the stream sometime soon. Obviously, we have John Alita here today. We have Michael Franzese next week, so it's kind of hard for my brother to kind of just like interrupt. But I know you guys want to see him, so he'll be here. So it'll be fun to see how these streams continue to go. I'm glad we had a nice little Q&A with everyone. What is it called if I'm a believer but conditionally? Oh, interesting, Sierra. I don't know. Maybe you're what's a halfway point of saying a Shaniac and a Bugara. Madillion, hey, nice to see you again, Madison. Madison, thank you again for tuning into Merle and I Stereo. You turned 24 on Saturday. Happy early birthday, Madison. So my weekend's packed for birthday and Valentine's Day with your fiance. Oh, what a treat you have this weekend. Like a ghost agnostic. That's a good way of putting it. That's what you wish. That is exactly it, Sierra. You're a ghost agnostic. Planning on staying home. Big snowstorm on V-Day. I wish that we had a snowstorm coming over here in LA, but we don't, unfortunately. Paula Diaz, cookie or brownie? I love brownies, I would say. If I'm craving something right now, I would go with a brownie. Booniac, that's right. Agnostic, that's pretty good, Sierra. Medillion, that's cool. Yeah, I think it was cool though. I liked having John here. I do know we have to finish the game. I know people are keen on seeing us finish at Dead of Night, which we will do. We're 33% in, so we're definitely not giving up on that. We're gonna finish that, and then we'll play another horror game after that. I think Color McLovin suggested Layers of Fear, so I think that's gonna be the next one after that. Let me know what you guys think if you guys are familiar with Layers of Fear. So we'll continue the spooky traditions. Otherwise, that's kind of the plan for now. So next week we have Michael Franzese. If you're not familiar with him, we've done a few BuzzFeed videos with him. He's a very renowned ex-mafioso. He wasn't a hitman. He was the man calling the shots. He was a capo regime, which is pretty high up in a family. And so he was leading crews, and so he has a lot to share, and he has his own YouTube channel, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. We can ask more mafia questions, and he's a great character too. And between you and me, he likes musicals too. He does. We've talked about it, so we'll have more musical chat with another mobster. Mobsters and musicals. That's what we'll call these Q&A sessions with these mafiosos. Edwina, when are you playing Dead of Night next? We'll play Dead of Night next Thursday. So again, Michael Franzese interview next Thursday, Q&A, just like this one, exact same thing. We'll throw a channel in the Discord. Again, join the Discord if you haven't. We hang out there, submit your questions there. And yeah, so that's what we'll be doing next Thursday. And then after that, we'll go back to Dead of Night so we complete that game, and so we can put that criminal Jimmy in jail where he belongs, because he's a fucking maniac. Yeah, Franzese was a really high-ranking dude, so it'll be really interesting to see Franzese's Michael. Andrew's talking in the chat about Franzese. Michael Franzese, our guest next week, he was very high-ranking. So it's going to be a very different perspective to John's. But they're both great. Well, again, I call them great guys, and I know like some people, it's a touchy subject to call a hitman a great guy, and yeah, the language around it is tough. I'll acknowledge that for sure. It's hard to it's hard to call a hitman a great guy, right? But as far as what he's doing now to make up for the crimes he committed, he's trying to make a positive impact. He's trying to do the best he can, and for that I do give him, I commend him for that, and I'm not afraid to say that, because he could just shy away, and because he made a lot of money in his day. I'm sure he could just like go quiet and do whatever he wants to do, live the rest of his life in solitude with his wife. But he's out there. He does public speaking events. And I'll even say this: he does public speaking events. He does prison reform. And I'll say this about John Alite too. When I did 2 BuzzFeed videos with him, I think Zach Shasinski also did one for BuzzFeed Multiplayer. So he got paid to do BuzzFeed videos last year, because we did a couple videos with him. And he didn't want to get paid. He said, take the money that you would give me and donate it to this charity. And he gave us a charity he wanted the money donated to. So, that's all. Yeah. That says something, I think. Either way, yeah. So are you nervous about it? Aria, Vinny's asking about Michael Franzese next week. I'm not nervous at all. I love Michael. Michael and I have done many videos together. I've hung out more with Michael than I have with John. I only shot with John once, actually. I shot 2 videos with him back to back on the same afternoon. It was like over Zoom. Whereas Michael, I was in person with him. I shot several videos with him. I think I've met him over the course of like 3-4 different days. And so Michael and I, if anything, I'm more at ease with Michael than I am with John. But even with John, I was never nervous. I mean, they're both nice guys considering, what they did. So yeah. No, Jimmy cute. I don't know if Jimmy's cute. That's blasphemous to say, Atlas. And by the way, also a shout out as well to Strawberry Possum in the Discord, who is doing a giveaway of the Hitman games. Again, Strawberry Possum is doing a Hitman game giveaway. So, check it out. If you want the game, join the Discord and join that. And I also want to give a shout out to the moderators in general too: Sarah, Nikki, Color McLovin, for helping keep things, Megan for helping keep things, rolling during this. Whenever we bring people over from the when we publicize these events on the Unsolved Network, you sometimes get a couple of animals that sneak in, and so I appreciate people, the moderators keeping things on the lock. And shout out again to Tommy for the Canadian dollar super chat. Lots of love to you. These streams are put up as videos, so if anyone wants to watch the replay, if you're coming in late, the replay will be up tonight, tomorrow, whenever I can get a thumbnail done for it. I meant Dead at Night, Jimmy. Oh, Stephanie's saying, yeah. What am I having for dinner? Tana, that's a great question. I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner yet. Maybe I'll order with you guys on stream right now. By the way, I got to get a different monitor because I keep looking down when I look at the chat. And I hate that. I hate that I'm always looking down. So I gotta get a monitor here or something. But we'll figure that out. Barbara, thank you for tuning in. Thanks, Ari. She says that's really interesting. Oh, and I'm so glad you're here next week and the week after that too, Barbara. I appreciate you being here. Hello. I'm sorry I can't read the characters of your username. I believe they're Japanese characters. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry, I don't know how to read those. If not, but hello to you, person with the, I believe, Japanese characters. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then Pokerash, thank you so much for being here at 9 a.m. Shout out to Nikki still. By the way, I saw Nikki. You're still here. You can go to bed, Nikki. He's gone. Nikki lives in Europe, so big shout out to Nikki for being up at whatever fucking time it is, right? That's probably 4 a.m., isn't it? Thank you, Nikki. And thank you to anyone else that's up late or up early to be part of the stream. I'm looking forward to next week's Q&A, and then we'll be back to playing our games. I know some people don't care so much about Q&As with Mafia guys, so we're trying to keep it balanced here on the channel, but I appreciate whoever was able to tune in for this one. Crispy Napkins, okay that you missed the live. We'll be keeping the replay up, so don't worry about that. I killed no such hamster. There's slander right now in the chat. Evelina, yeah. Miguel, when are you going to fight again? I hope to fight again this year if it's safe enough, to train and for California to put on fights. I'll probably make a video about that at some point, about whether or not I'm going to fight again or when that would be, because I know people love to ask that question. It'd be good. Rohun, you got to go. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll wrap up too. I think people are popping in. I feel bad saying goodbye as people pop in. I'll stay for another 5 minutes. 7:30. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna order my dinner. Nisha, nice to see you back. Cassandra, great to see you. Yeah, I know. I want to sleep too, Cassandra. And it's only 7 here. Bye, Rohun. Miguel, nice to see you. Nice to have fans from the Philippines. Oh, that's true. Oh, I'll say AEW for you, Lucas. Yeah. Yes, we're gonna. I was gonna say yes. I'm looking at. I saw some. Yes, Sarah asked, "You have a new video coming out soon?" That's a good point. Kimberly Cruz, do you have any videos coming out with Merle? Nothing with Merle for BuzzFeed or for my own channel, but Merle did release a video with the two of us last week, which is on her channel. If you want to check it out, she's in the chat. You can just click her username. I do have a new BuzzFeed video coming out this Saturday, though. Another internet crimes video. I can post the thumbnail in the Discord as a teaser because I can't really share it here. Yeah, it's another internet crimes video. And it revolves around the title is A Vicious YouTube Feud Turned Murder Suicide. Yeah, it's a fascinating case. It's about two YouTubers who feuded. It's very much a one-sided YouTube feud that culminated in a murder suicide, and it's tragic as always, but it's an interesting one though. So that comes out this Saturday at 8 a.m. on the BuzzFeed Unsolved Network, and I'll post the thumbnail in the Unsolved Network channel on the Discord as a little teaser. And then but the edit I'm working on right now I've been working on, as you know, we play Among Us and stuff on the Discord. I know people keep asking me to play Among Us, but I haven't been able to because I've been working so much. And so basically the big project I've been working on is a bigger investigation of sorts. That's going to be coming out at the end of the month. I won't reveal too much about it. Maybe I'll reveal more hints as we get closer, but it's a very fascinating world. It deals with predators and predators in the world of kink. Very specific part of the kink world. It's interesting. It's a really interesting one. But we'll see. Super J Cole fan, don't worry, you missed the Q&A, the live. Like I said, if you missed the Q&A, don't worry, the replay will be back up. And then next week we have another Q&A with Michael Franzese, continuing the Mafia theme, so it'll be good. What's better, tea or coffee? I don't drink either. Oh, I do like boba. If you consider boba tea, I guess so. Why does Aria kill so many hamsters? I would never do such a thing. Hanju Kim, you're a sick man for saying that is the case. Don't be supporting Sarah's lies. These people are trolls, Stephanie. They're these moderators. They like to make me look like a criminal. I appreciate you, Atlas. My favorite boba flavor. I had my first boba in over a year. This Sunday with Merle. Well, she didn't get one, but when we were driving back from our getaway, and I went with the classic milk tea. But usually I like classic or taro. I had a dream actually the other night that I got a taro milk tea. But typically it's just typically like the brown sugar is what I like, which is why I shouldn't be drinking very much of it because that's unhealthy. I do the brown sugar milk teas. I love it. Yeah, the mods are great. How do you become a moderator? The moderators, we have a great group right now. And as the Discord grows and the stream grows, we'll add more moderators. I really don't have any real process. The people that I made moderators are just people that have been active in Discord or people that I know or have known for a while and that I trust. But you all seem lovely. So that's what makes it very tough to pick moderators because I trust pretty much all of you. But yes, I think I've not tried taro chips, mahi, sorry, apologies. But maybe someday. And lastly, I'm going to just wrap it up. The mod skips spankings, yeah. 100 car crash, Crispy, not familiar with that. Yeah, play Among Us if you guys want, Atlas says. I'm going to wrap up the stream right now, so thank you again to everyone that tuned in for the Q&A with John Alite. A big shout out again, and thank you. I don't know, I pulled this away. I'm not done yet. A big shout out and thank you to John Alite for being here with us. I'm not sure. He's probably not watching that, but I'll send him a text. And yeah, thank you to all of you for all your fun questions, for being active in the chat, for engaging with him. I know he seemed to really appreciate you guys, so thank you. We'll keep that energy up next Thursday when Michael is on the stream, and then yeah, it should be fun. In the meantime, though, thank you again for everyone tuning in. Join us on the Discord. I've been very busy editing, but I'm always happy to see you guys on Discord, playing games, watching movies, and again, we'll do a Mamma Mia stream probably this Saturday. So do that. Yeah, be there for that. If not, be there for some Among Us. If not, be there just to chat. I'll post teasers of the Unsolved Network video coming out this Saturday there. That's about it. Until then, I'll see you next Thursday for a live Q&A with Michael Franzese, ex-mob boss. And then the week after that, we'll be back to playing some more at Dead of Night, where we're going to lock Jimmy in that fucking room again, and the computer will not crash on me. Thank you all. Happy, and happy Chinese New Year. Happy Chinese Lunar New Year. Have a great time.